Y'all, how happy are we that January is over? My gosh, goodbye, January. Hello, February. February is the month of love. And you know what can keep your love alive in and out of the bedroom? It's Via. You can keep that Valentine's Day energy going and elevate your passion using the natural power of cannabis with Via. Via has developed a unique blend of pleasure enhancing cannabinoids, libido strengthening herbs, and a medium dose of THC all into one mind blowing gummy called High Love. We're talking about pairing those aphrodisiac herbs with a mild amount of THC. Their best selling High Love gummy will awaken your senses, increase blood flow, if you know what I'm saying, and intensify any sexual experience. Trusted by over 500,000 customers, Via is well renowned for their award winning THC and TH free gummies, THCA flowers, soothing tropicals, and calming drops, all crafted with the highest quality hemp sourced from trusted, independently owned American farms. And the best part, Via legally ships to nearly all states in the United States in discreet packaging directly to your door with a worry-free guarantee. No medical card required. So if you're over 21, treat yourself to 15% off. And if you're new to Via, get a free gift of your choice with our exclusive code PINKSHADE at viahemp.com. I'm going to spell this to you. VIIAHEMP.com. Okay. Again, VIIAHEMP.com. That's viahemp.com and use code PINKSHADE to get 15% off. And if you're new, you'll get a gift of your choice. Do it. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Pink Shade. It is Mugshot Monday. It is the day after the Super Bowl, and we don't know who won because we're recording this before the Super Bowl.
I don't even know who's playing.
Congratulations to the winners of the Super Bowl.
I just know Kendrick Lamar is performing at the halftime show, and that is in New Orleans. That's all I know.
It is the Eagles, which, you know, everybody like loves to hate, whatever. They have like such a crazy fan base. Like, they're the people that like they'll win and they'll burn down the whole town, like crazy.
They burn down the whole town if their team won.
Exactly, because they ain't right.
Are they from Philadelphia?
Yeah.
Oh well, that's why. Aren't people kind of crazy in Philadelphia?
I guess so. But it's just like, this is not like me giving an opinion. This is just like a fact that their fans are crazy. So it's the Eagles and Kansas City, which is Kansas City, Missouri, not Kansas City, Kansas City Chiefs. And that is Travis Kelce, who dates Taylor Swift. So that's why like a lot of people watch these football games to see Taylor Swift. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So is that the team that Patrick Mahomes or
Patrick Mahomes?
He's on that team because I saw things saying that there's.
I think you're right.
Whoever. Yeah, I think so.
I believe he's the quarter. This is sad.
He's a quarterback. Yeah.
I believe he's the quarterback. And the only reason I know that is because Patrick Mahomes, football quarterback, because his wife, Brittany Mahomes, is always like hanging out with Taylor Swift. And I
don't like her at all.
People really hate that Brittany Mahomes.
Yeah, I don't like her at all.
And I was asking, our buddy Chris was just over helping me with some home improvement projects. And he was saying how he didn't like Brittany Mahomes. I go, why do you care about her? He goes, because da 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 da. And he talked about this documentary that came out. And it was about Patrick Mahomes and Kirk Cousins. And I guess like famous quarterbacks. I don't know. Anyway, he said it was a documentary. And Patrick Mahomes came across annoying because he never stops talking. But he's like, his wife is horrible. Came across horrible.
She wants to be a celebrity.
Yeah, that's what.
Yeah, I don't like her. Yeah,
I was like, okay. I was like, well, I think they've got a couple of kids, so they're in it, for the long haul.
Yeah, their kids are like golden, silverish, and bronze. Those are their names.
The names?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, now I don't like her because of that. Because
reason.
Even if it was his idea, she has some say, and that's just wrong.
To me, the woman names the child.
Okay. Well,
I didn't even give Skylar's dad an option. It's just like,
yeah.
give me your opinions, but I didn't take them. I'm like, this is her name.
Well, with Anna, it was either going to be Anna Elizabeth or Elizabeth Ann. It was going to be one of those two. And then with John, I really wanted to name him John David Gilbert. And of course, I was going to call him John David because I love that name, John David. And my husband reminded me that I hate my double name. Why would I do that to a child? And he was correct. I was like, because people could call him JD and he would be like, cool. And Dave was like, So we did John Gilbert and we gave the two middle names that Dave has that also his dad has. So.
Got you.
There we go.
Got you. Yes.
Because we weren't going to do a junior, I'm glad those things are behind me.
I know.
All right. This Love After Lockup crime story, we thought, what they're going to do is they'll start the new season with this, and this will be the new way they do it. They'll do crime story, love after lockup, life after lockup, love during lockup. And that's they're going to be a cycle. But no, it's still season 5. It's episode 59. So when next week when we start with a brand new Love After Lockup, will that be season 6? We don't know. We don't know. It doesn't start next week. I'm sorry. It starts in like 4 weeks.
I think if we're still recording in like 5 years and covering this show, it'll still be season 5.
Season 5.
That's what I
312.
think.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I had to place a bet, that's what I would bet on.
Well, what did you think overall of this? Because this is like new to the series. So what did you think?
So you have to sit down and pay attention. Like the first time it took me, I told you like 4 or 5 times to really watch it because I was doing other stuff and just, it's different. You have to like the buffoonery we see on the other show. You literally can be doing other stuff like that idiot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But this, you have to sit down and pay attention. And once I did that, I'm like, okay, this is actually pretty good. This is pretty interesting. You know what I mean? And it's not all the clowning around and who's sleeping with who and this and that. This is just like, this is not to me scripted. Like some of the stuff that we see on the Lalu, you could tell it's kind of like, okay, that didn't really happen like that. But this is like their whole, and I love a good backstory. This is the backstories. So it was actually good. It's a change of pace too.
Did you know about Garrett? Were you watching the show when Garrett was on?
So I know all about Garrett, but I did not start watching this show until the season where there was a girl named Alba. I know she died, but I did not watch Garrett's season, but I've seen like playbacks of it and kind of have pieced it all together. And like, I know what he's doing now. He's really, really cute.
Very cute.
He's cute.
And we saw the pictures of his dad when his dad was young.
His dad's pretty fucking hot.
Pretty cute too.
And he's got a big, strong nose and
yeah. What I will say immediately upon watching this, I noticed that every time they showed anything about Garrett, they did not show Jonna, which means she wouldn't. I don't think I don't think you would have a choice. I think they can use your likeness in perpetuity for 20 years from now if they want. I think they chose not to show her because she has done a lot of exposing about this show.
Okay.
And a lot of like, oh, they made us do this 3 times or.
Okay.
And then, I mean, she really went on a tear of trying to expose everything about the show. So that is probably the reason they didn't show her at all. Cause she's still pretty active on social media talking about that time I was on reality TV, you know?
Okay.
Because they did show with Lindsey, they did show Blaine and they did show Deontay.
They did. And as soon as Blaine's face popped up on the screen, producer Danes went, Lindsey. When we first saw him, when she first gets out of prison, when he went to pick her up, those teeth were teething, man. And that Justin Bieber swoop.
Yes, he had that hair.
That had his hair. And then we saw Deontay and all 10,000 of his big teeth.
Right. So, he has too many teeth and Blaine doesn't have enough. Yeah. Yeah. And then Deontay and Lindsey have been back and forth on the internet, on the social media.
Which I don't understand why. And I refuse to actually do a deep dive into it because I'm just like, shut up. Like, to me, that whole thing was they both still wanted to be on another season.
Yes.
So they hooked up so they could do that. Just say what it is and move on. There's no way she really liked Deontay.
I agree with that. I completely agree with that. And then I think because somebody had made a comment to Lindsey about the teenager that he's impregnated, and she just like replied to a comment, and that just sent him on a tear. He's just trying so hard to be relevant. Like, go away. Go away, Deontay.
He refuses to go away. He's just immature and kind of not, he doesn't have a great personality.
No, and he's not all there upstairs. He's a little dim and a lot goofy.
He is the king of the goof troop for sure. Yes,
the goof troop.
He is indeed.
Let's get started with Lindsey though. So Lindsey Downs is 30 years old currently. What a life, man. She's 30 years old.
She did a lot, and whenever you see 30, you're like, how is she just 30?
I know.
She just seems like she's at least like 35.
I mean,
like, she's got a lot.
She's got a whole life ahead of her, man.
Yes, she does.
6 years total in jail. Now, we also noticed that they did not show, when they showed her, they did not show Scott, the first guy she was on TV with the lip and all that.
We just call him Lip.
And
Lip.
I'm trying to remember if there has to be a reason they didn't show him.
I'm sure he wants no parts.
But it doesn't matter. Once they've got you. Oh,
that's true too.
They've got your stuff for life. They can use it however they want forever.
Which is weird that they didn't show him, because that is how we got introduced to Lindsey.
Yeah.
They showed his house. They showed her like talking to little Miley Grace through his door, his like glass door. But no,
I wonder if Lindsey was like, I won't do it if he's involved, because I mean, he's the one that called the cops on her that second time she got arrested. And I mean,
she did fuck his shit up. Like
she did, but
she did.
He got what he bargained for with that. What did he think was going to happen? She was like,
not that.
She was like 26 or something, and he was like 54, and he moved to Mississippi to be with her. Oh, whatever.
With an extreme lip allergy.
Extreme. I'm sure it still looks like that, by the way. So Scott, we should look him up and see what's happening with him.
I don't want to see his lip.
No, neither. Okay. So Lindsey, age 30, 6 years in jail. So we start in Tupelo, home of Elvis Presley. So we start in Tupelo, and Lindsey says, she grew up, she was just a country girl. She grew up on a chicken farm. Her graduating class was only 30 people.
Jesus.
That's pretty.
Anna's
was 8.
Like everyone had to be related in some way, shape, or form. If there's only 30.
30 is pretty tiny. It's pretty small.
That's small.
Biological parents were not very involved in her life. So she was raised by her step-grandmother, who she considers her mom. I can't remember her name, but we've seen her a lot. She's a good person.
Because they call her Nanny, right?
Yeah.
With Molly or something. Here's the thing. They never, ever, ever tell us why her parents were not involved.
No.
They said like it was like drugs or this or that. Like, literally, how does this little girl not go live with her grandmother, but her step grandmother? And I think the grandfather had already died.
Yeah. I don't know.
Very odd.
We would have to like harken back to her first season to see if she told us, why her real parents weren't involved.
Well, during the first season, we didn't even know that was her grandmother. It was like her second or third time on the show that we're like, that's actually my step grandmother. We thought it was her mom this whole time.
I think she told us initially that was her grandmother.
Really?
Yeah, but then we didn't find out till later it was actually her step-grandmother.
Step-grandmother?
Not related at all. Yeah.
God bless that woman.
God bless her. And then she had to take on Miley.
Miley Grace, yeah.
So she considers that her mother, obviously. We see her cheerleading pictures, and she said she was very into I think she says softball, basketball, cheerleading, but basketball really was her life. Yeah. And she met Miley's dad her freshman year of high school. She had Miley at 16. And she says she had to grow up immediately because now she had to take care of somebody else. She worked 3 jobs, went to school full time, and took care of Miley. And she was just mentally and physically drained, as you can imagine.
3 jobs. I'm just like, okay. You have to think, why were you working 3 jobs? Were you living on your own at this point? Like, why 3 jobs if you're living with your mom?
I don't know if the step grandma had kicked her out but she was still in high school because she graduated high school and she had Miley Grace, and then she went to community college. So, I mean,
Yeah, I can't see her kicking her out. I just can't see that lady kicking her out because
not
she
until
got
she was on
pregnant.
not until she was on drugs. And
That
then
would be a
people
good
did.
reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, Miley's dad, whatever his name is, and Lindsey broke up when Miley was 4. So they just stayed together 4 years. So maybe they were living
Yeah.
together. Yeah.
Maybe.
And then the next relationship, she was introduced to cocaine by her boyfriend because she said she really just like had to study for a midterm and was working so much and she needed to stay awake to study. She said instantly when she did cocaine, it was a spiral downward, and then it transitioned to another drug, and then it was all downhill. So I think when she says another drug, of course, now we know that she was on meth.
Yes, and she got lucky. She didn't get meth skin, meth teeth, like nothing. She got really, really, really lucky. And it's funny that she said that she got started on coke because she was tired. I think a shit ton of people start off on coke for just that reason.
Really?
Like all the people that I know who started off on coke, it was kind of like that. Yeah.
It seems like they want to do coke to stay awake to party, not to sit and study.
A lot of like moms that I've known, they were like, I was just so tired trying to do this, and that, and lose weight. Got started on coke like that.
Oh, see, I would think people just go right to Adderall, but maybe that's a newer thing.
Yeah, I don't know anyone who does just Adderall unless they like really, really need Adderall. I only know one person whose parent put them on Adderall to lose weight. Yeah, when the girl was in high school. I can't say whose family it was.
Yeah,
but whose side of the family it was.
Right.
Yes, and that girl turned into a full-blown like crackhead. Like I think it was horrible.
That is terrible.
Like it was the start of like a downward spiral for this kid, and she's still not right. It's from the palm-colored side of my family.
Can you just quit giving hints about who it is? Because we understood what you were saying. We didn't need to. We got it. And you know,
sure? Are you sure?
Yeah, because you know that that side of the family listens to this podcast, so you need to be careful.
It's just one, and he don't care.
Okay.
I don't think the other. I don't think the other ones do. Oh shit.
They don't listen. They probably listen to yours. They don't listen to this one.
Oh God, that's even worse.
Y'all, how happy are we that January is over? My gosh, goodbye, January. Hello, February. February is the month of love. And you know what can keep your love alive in and out of the bedroom? It's VIA. You can keep that Valentine's Day energy going and elevate your passion using the natural power of cannabis with VIA. VIA has developed a unique blend of pleasure-enhancing cannabinoids, libido-strengthening herbs, and a medium dose of THC all into one mind-blowing gummy called High Love. We're talking about pairing those aphrodisiac herbs with a mild amount of THC. Their best-selling High Love gummy will awaken your senses, increase blood flow, if you know what I'm saying, and intensify any sexual experience. Trusted by over 500,000 customers, VIA is well-renowned for their award-winning THC and TH-free gummies, THCA flowers, soothing tropicals, and calming drops, all crafted with the highest quality hemp sourced from trusted, independently owned American farms. And the best part, VIA legally ships to nearly all states in the United States in discreet packaging directly to your door with a worry-free guarantee. No medical card required. So if you're over 21, treat yourself to 15% off. And if you're new to VIA, get a free gift of your choice with our exclusive code PINKSHADE at viahemp.com. I'm going to spell this to you. VIIAHEMP.com. Okay. Again, VIIAHEMP.com. That's viahemp.com, and use code PINKSHADE to get 15% off. And if you're new, you'll get a gift of your choice. Do it. Let's talk about peptides for a minute. If you're like me, you see the word peptide everywhere on all your products. But just because something says peptide on the label doesn't mean it's actually doing anything for you. And that's where OneSkin's OS1 peptide is different. Some peptides just sit on the top of the skin, but OS1 goes deeper. It's scientifically formulated to penetrate the cells within skin's deeper layers, improving key skin health markers like collagen production, hydration, and skin barrier function. And not only that, OS1 is proven to remain stable from the lab to your countertop. So if you're not getting results from your peptide, it might be time to take a closer look. All of OneSkin's topical supplements are backed by lab and clinical studies. You guys know I've been using OneSkin's face topical supplement for months. You guys, my skin looks great. It is completely working for me. I need anything I can these days to help with the collagen production, and this is really working for me. OneSkin was founded in 2016 by an all-woman team of scientists with PhDs in skin regeneration, stem cell biology, immunology, and bioinformatics. You guys, this is a bunch of smart ladies. Like I said, founded and led by an all-woman team of skin longevity scientists and experts, OneSkin is redefining the aging process with the proprietary OS1 peptide, the first ingredient proven to help skin look, feel, and behave like its younger self. Get 15% off with code PINKSHADE at oneskin.co. That's 15% off at oneskin.co with code PINKSHADE. After you purchase, they'll say, "Where did you hear about us?" Please say Pink Shade. Support our show and tell them we sent you. Invest in your health and longevity of your skin with OneSkin. Your future self will thank you. So anyway, she said instantly, she transitioned to other drugs. Now her next boyfriend named B, she learned how to sell drugs from him. She just watched him and studied him and watched him sell drugs and make money. And she just thought it was the coolest thing ever. So she learned the business and said, I'm pretty. And I'm aware that I'm pretty. So I use that to my advantage. People wanted to hang out with me, but they wanted to get from me. They didn't want to disappoint me,
Do you think she's like that kind of pretty?
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah. I think when you look back at this time, she was, 20.
Yeah.
And looked like that.
She's small town, graduation class of 30, kind of pretty.
Hot.
Yeah. Like, come on, from a little country boutique.
Definitely, they had a Beauties and Bows pageant, like they still have at my high school that I went to, and she was definitely, top 5 beauty for sure, if not number 1. Most beautiful.
I think she did do pageants because remember that episode where Molly Grace wanted to do a pageant and she said, "Oh well, I was in pageants. I did that." Yeah, totally country, small town. Yeah, pretty girl. Yeah.
And by the way, she's just a half of a makeover from being like completely stunning. The hair's too long.
The hair's too long. I'm sick of the hair.
Yeah, the hair's too long.
It's too long.
But
she doesn't know how to do her makeup well.
No, but I'm saying
she doesn't know how to dress.
She just needs literally like to go to Jackson, like the big city where I'm from.
Yes.
And get a real makeup artist to help her out and cut her hair. And whew.
I agree. Yeah. I agree 100%. Yes.
So she said, I'm pretty. I'm aware I'm pretty. So I used that. And she said, at the height of my business, I had a plan for me and Miley. I was going to get sober. I bought this $250,000 house. Now they go and see the house. And she's explaining to Miley, they had 24-hour nanny care. And she's like, I did. She was like, because I think Miley remembers who these nannies were. Like, this one was the night nanny. This is I had somebody there all the time. And I was just a ghost floating through.
Wow.
And Miley says, "How much money did you make?" And she's like, "Well, I think in 2015 I made $300,000." And Miley goes, "That's more than a doctor." No, Miley, it's not, girl.
What? It's a pretty damn good living.
Yeah, it is. It
is. Just be it made me think about my life choices. I'm like, I would have just taken the Lindsey plan and not gotten called. I'd be living pretty good right now.
But she says, but a lot of people were questioning, and I think this is in the Pink Shade Facebook group, like how she could buy that house with no credit check. Well, she said she had 3 jobs. So I don't know if she was keeping like one of her like fast food jobs.
Legit jobs.
But and people that know more about this can speak on it, but I'm just saying, like, to buy a house, you have to show, here are my past 3 tax records, or you have to prove your income.
Do you think maybe she was just renting it? Like rent to own or something like that?
She could have just been renting it. That's a really good point, because that person may just be like, yeah, I'll take cash every month.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, you know, that was her dream, right? I'm going to have this big house. I'm going to have Miley. I'm going to get sober, whatever. But she says at that time, if anybody she sold to went to jail, she would bond them out so they wouldn't tell on her. Right. And we see her sort of doing that during the show. But she was like good at this time. And she was like with Deontay and had been sober. She never has gone back to prison or been not sober since this time. So I don't know if that was just for show, but they show that from the show when she was bonding people out. And
I remember that.
I remember that too. And she says, look, people stop doing drugs when they run out of drugs or run out of money, and then they go to sleep. But me, I never ran out of drugs and I never ran out of money. So I never went to sleep. So she was just geeked out of her mind.
And she's a high energy person anyway.
Yeah.
Like she has to be go, 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 go. Like, I don't know if you watch her on TikTok.
Yeah.
Holy shit. She like goes off for like 3 hours of sleep and is perfectly okay. Like,
yeah.
I don't know how she does it.
Yeah. She told me that when I interviewed her, and that, you know, and now she's still in, I think she's about to graduate in May from a very prestigious business program. So yeah, I mean, we've always said whenever she drew that map from from Deontay explaining from his job site to his house, and she drew a map off of his description of it. Do you remember that? She's very smart.
She's very smart. Yeah. And she's finally using that for good instead of, you know, drug dealing and whatever the fuck else she was doing.
Yeah. So she says she watched too much Breaking Bad. So by the way, which you and I have discussed this, you never watched Breaking Bad.
I watched season 1, and here's the thing. I think a lot of people watched that show and decided they could also have a meth lab and make meth.
Right. But
and a lot of them don't have an arm, or they've lost some fingers, or have half a face, because they thought they could do it.
The point of Walter White was he was a chemist, and that's why he was so good at it. Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, it's such a good show. You should watch the whole thing.
I do need to finish it.
So she says, you know, I thought if Walter White could do it, I could do it. She wanted to smoke the purest meth. Like all the meth heads get in their mind, if I could just have the purest meth. Like why? Because they're on meth and it's supposed to be better. And then what? And then what? Then you're president.
You're going to get used to it.
I mean, what? Then what?
I mean, you're going to get used to it. You're going to get addicted to it, just like you get addicted to bad meth. Like you're still going to use it. Yeah. But I think it's that first time high.
Yeah, you're always chasing.
And you just don't get, I don't think you get it back.
No. So we meet her former associate, whose name is Stephanie. I would like to have known, now, is Stephanie sober? Is she okay? But Stephanie, she says Lindsey was very sought after by men and women. Everybody wanted our dope. Everybody wanted to hang out with us. You know, we were the cool kids and the, you know, drug dealing. They go to a terrible looking trailer, which Lindsey says, obviously this is not the one that she burned down, but it's very similar. She goes, it's just like all you don't need like food and couch. All you're doing in here is making dope or smoking dope. So you don't need, so it's like all, it was all like hollowed
there's all kind of shit in there.
Oh,
like
crazy,
there was one that had all this shit. It's like, well, whose trailer is that they are using?
I wonder if, like, because they were talking with the police and the towns, I wonder if they're like, do you have a place we could shoot? And they're like, yeah, there's this abandoned place over here where people used to cook meth. We can go in there.
Okay, that sounds about right. Yeah.
So we meet Captain Steve Stewart, Narcotics, Mississippi. I was like, he's just in Narcotics of Mississippi. I would have liked more information, but he says cooking meth is like a bomb. Like you literally are putting flame to chemicals and you don't know what it's generally meth heads doing it. Yeah. So Lindsey goes, no, I never realized how dangerous it was. I didn't know anything about it. I was high. I thought I knew what I was doing, but I had bought like a kid's chemistry kit off the internet, and I didn't know what I was doing.
Dangerous.
And she burned down the trailer. And she's like, so I just got in my car and drove off. You know, she's like, all right. Yeah.
That's what I would have done. I'm like, what? I mean, what am I going to do? Call the fucking fire department and say, hey, I was cooking meth and I burned down this trailer. Fuck it. It's just a little rinky dink trailer. Just let it burn. Let it burn.
That's right. So she says, in 2015, she had been selling drugs for over a year, and she went and picked up her dad and her stepmom for, I think, his birthday. Maybe it was her birthday. But they got pulled over for cops for no reason, and they found drugs in the car, but just a little bit. She goes, I went to jail for like one day. But
That's
after
not
that,
enough for her.
yeah, she was after that, things really spiraled. And we see a bunch of her charges: possession of a controlled substance, possession of meth, possession of drug paraphernalia, felony, fleeing, controlled substance, and sell, distribute, dispense a controlled substance.
That's a long rap sheet.
Yeah. And she says, I just kept getting out on bond. I had no real consequences, so I kept doing it. We meet Police Chief Grant Bailey of Saltillo, Mississippi Police.
Okay.
Never heard of it. In February 2016, around midnight, she had to go make a drop. She had this client that was like, I have to have my pound exactly at this time every week. She felt something was just not right. When she left from the drop, she pulled out and was going like 60 and a 45, and the police had followed her. So she started running from the police. And she said she had a personal lawyer who told her, hypothetically, if you have a safe and everything illegal is in that safe, the police cannot search that safe in your car, in your house, whatever, without a warrant. And that had worked for her many, many times. Pulled over.
Now, Mary Payne,
safe. Yeah.
I know you know. What was that at the bottom that was written?
Okay. It says 1981, the Supreme Court established that a locked vehicle compartment can be searched after an arrest. You don't have to wait for the warrant.
Whoever that attorney was told her completely wrong.
Completely wrong, but she says it had worked many, many, many times. So I think that if you're arrested, then it's just after an arrest. So if you get arrested for going 60 and a 45, which generally they would just get a ticket, you'd have to be really arrested, then arrested for something, right? Then they can search a locked compartment in your car.
But see, it seems like she just freaked out. Like, I think they legit were just after her because she was driving fast.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she just freaked out and said, oh, they must be after me because I've got drugs. Well, no, bitch, they don't know you have drugs. Like,
right. Because she says, because after this is when she was really on the radar of the police. Right. So she says, and this, that had worked many times, but somehow I had this gut instinct in this case that I needed to ditch the safes. So she starts driving and she's trying to throw the safes. How many safes are in your home? And how heavy are they?
Yeah, like a safe is not like just light. I'm like, did you have like these little bitty Hello Kitty safes that you have drugs in, or what?
Or were they like little flat lock boxes, right?
I don't know. That just sounded really weird.
Like a money box, this kind of like a flat metal box. So she starts like throwing out these safes as she goes along the road. And she says, so even if I get caught, there's no drugs in the car. So they're just going to get me for speeding or whatever. So she tells about the crash she had in this high-speed chase. She gets to like a corner at a Y intersection and she loses control of the car. She had taken her seatbelt off to grab the safes to throw them out the window. So when she spins the car out, she flings over to the passenger seat, knocks herself out, wakes up, and they're pulling her out of the car. So she's just telling this, she's really like pretty fearless, badass, even though she uses her powers for evil. She's really pretty.
I still would have been crying about that, retelling that story. Like, it did. Look,
I got a bruise.
Yeah. She's just like, she's telling that like high school graduation story, like a party that night or something like that. Like, this is not a big deal.
She's lived quite a life.
A fast life.
So she had that crash and she was charged with felony, fleeing, possession of a controlled substance. So she didn't get all of it out of the car. Or on the police cam, they were recording her throwing shit out the window. Yeah.
So some little kid just found the thing and just like used a hammer and it's like, oh, what is this? It's just like, really?
She forgot to tell us this part, possession of a firearm. She forgot to tell us she had a gun at that time. So she says she was in the back of the cop car and she slipped her hands out of the handcuffs and he had a 24-pack of water on the floor. And she opened one up and was like cleaning herself off from the accident because she's like, listen, I didn't know I was going to jail. I had to look good for the mugshot.
I mean, that's true. I mean, you don't want a bad mugshot because look, now we're seeing her mugshot now on national television, but no one will beat Portia Williams' mugshot.
I can't remember hers.
Oh, it was great.
I'm
I mean,
sure she looked amazing.
that is how you do a mugshot right there. It was good.
Well, really, you know who has a great mugshot? Paris Hilton. She has a really good
I
one.
don't remember hers.
Yeah, it's really good. Of course, she's like smizing at the camera. She's not even smiling. She's just like, "What, bitch?" I'm
What did
Paris
she get
Hilton.
arrested for?
Oh, like she had a couple of DUIs and then was just driving around. So
Gotcha.
it was
Okay.
like, and then she was in jail for like just like Lindsay Lohan. She was in jail for like half a day.
Yeah.
Um, okay, so Lindsay says, even now I can't go through like a roadblock or see blue lights without having anxiety, even though I'm not doing anything
Mm-hmm.
wrong. She says going back to the scene of the crash is surreal. So she's
I bet.
driving to it in the car and she says, this is the big moment where everything fell apart. And I knew I wasn't going to be able to get out of it. Now, meanwhile, this girl has knocked herself out on her dashboard, been
Mm-hmm.
pulled out by her pants out of a car, is in
Mm-hmm.
handcuffs. And it was like, let me just get out of these handcuffs so I can look good for my mugshot.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Isn't that like another charge, like getting out of your handcuffs? Can they charge you with something else?
Yes,
I mean, because
probably.
yeah,
Yeah.
probably yeah, that's what I'm thinking. But
Don't you remember
hey,
when Countess
gotta get
Luann
more
did
shots.
that? Countess Luann got out of her handcuffs and was like, I'll kill you.
No, I mean I heard she had done some bad stuff and said some bad things when she got arrested and was drunk, but I
Yeah.
didn't know she did that.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
She
how do
got
you get
herself.
out of handcuffs?
I think if they don't put them on you very tight because they're trying to be nice.
Oh, you
And then
just
you're like, yeah. Y'all, how happy are we that January is over? My gosh, goodbye, January. Hello, February. February is the month of love. And you know what can keep your love alive in and out of the bedroom? It's Via. You can keep that Valentine's Day energy going and elevate your passion using the natural power of cannabis with Via. Via has developed a unique blend of pleasure enhancing cannabinoids, libido strengthening herbs, and a medium dose of THC all into one mind blowing gummy called High Love. We're talking about pairing those aphrodisiac herbs with a mild amount of THC. Their best selling High Love gummy will awaken your senses, increase blood flow, if you know what I'm saying, and intensify any sexual experience. Trusted by over 500,000 customers, Via is well renowned for their award winning THC and TH free gummies, THCA flower, soothing tropicals, and calming drops, all crafted with the highest quality hemp sourced from trusted, independently owned American farms. And the best part, Via legally ships to nearly all states in the United States in discreet packaging directly to your door with a worry-free guarantee. No medical card required. So if you're over 21, treat yourself to 15% off. And if you're new to Via, get a free gift of your choice with our exclusive code Pink Shade at viahemp.com. I'm going to spell this to you. VIIAHEMP.com. Okay. Again, VIIAHEMP.com. That's viahemp.com and use code Pink Shade to get 15% off. And if you're new, you'll get a gift of your choice. Do it. Let's talk about peptides for a minute. If you're like me, you see the word peptide everywhere on all your products. But just because something says peptide on the label doesn't mean it's actually doing anything for you. And that's where OneSkin's OS1 peptide is different. Some peptides just sit on the top of the skin, but OS1 goes deeper. It's scientifically formulated to penetrate the cells within skin's deeper layers, improving key skin health markers like collagen production, hydration, and skin barrier function. And not only that, OS1 is proven to remain stable from the lab to your countertop. So if you're not getting results from your peptide, it might be time to take a closer look. All of OneSkin's topical supplements are backed by lab and clinical studies. You guys know I've been using OneSkin's face topical supplement for months. You guys, my skin looks great. It is completely working for me. I need anything I can these days to help with the collagen production, and this is really working for me. OneSkin was founded in 2016 by an all-woman team of scientists with PhDs in skin regeneration, stem cell biology, immunology, and bioinformatics. You guys, this is a bunch of smart ladies. Like I said, founded and led by an all woman team of skin longevity scientists and experts, One Skin is redefining the aging process with the proprietary OS1 peptide, the first ingredient proven to help skin look, feel, and behave like its younger self. Get 15% off with code PINKSHADE at oneskin.co. That's 15% off at oneskin.co with code PINKSHADE. After you purchase, they'll say, "Where did you hear about us?" Please say Pink Shade. Support our show and tell them we sent you. Invest in your health and longevity of your skin with One Skin. Your future self will thank you. And he says, so all right, so this now she meets that cop who's now the police chief in Saltillo, and he's the one that pulled her out of the car, and he was just like a cop at the time. And he says, yeah, her name after we arrested her, like she wasn't known to us, but after that, her name started getting really popular around the area. We started hearing
Wow.
her name a lot. Um,
Mm,
and he says to her, he goes, "What was interesting was like when we went to your court hearing, you didn't have any remorse." And she goes, "No, I didn't." She goes, "I really,
I
in
can
my mind,
believe it.
I didn't think I was doing anything wrong."
Yeah, I
And
believe
we
it.
saw a lot of that behavior when she was with Scott because she was still actively using it. And we saw a lot of that, like, I'm owed everything. I have no
She's
remorse.
very
Yeah,
cocky.
very cocky.
Very cocky. Yeah.
And the chief says, "Well, listen, like, it's amazing to see how you've turned your life around." She's like, "Listen, I'm sorry at that time if I said anything rude to you."
Because you know she did.
Oh no, she's probably like, she pulled a Karen Huger. "You are white and you are poor." Um,
I'm Thomas Jefferson's
It's
concubine.
concubine.
That shit's
Yeah,
so funny.
the grand dame. Andy called me that.
and,
Ray,
and, and,
Ray, Ray. Find my
and so
driver's
I don't know
license, Ray.
if you watched on Watch What Happens Live, Giselle and Robin were on there.
Hmm.
And they went back to that because it was actually Giselle who gave her that title. That's how drunk she was. She said it was Andy. And it's like, nope, it wasn't
Oh,
me. It was Giselle. Giselle.
I did see Ashley on Watch What Happens Live.
Mm-hmm.
It was maybe a couple of weeks ago, and he
Mm-hmm.
was saying like I mean, obviously he knows all the answers to this because they've already filmed the reunion, but he was asking her, he's like, "You guys didn't have any idea about like," and she was about the, the video that was going to come out of the
Right.
police cam, and she was
Yeah.
like, "Andy,
Yeah.
no." And he said, "How did you feel?" And she was like, I mean, shocked, like really sad, like really shocked,
It was really bad. It's just like, oh my God, why did she go to trial? This is insanity.
an insanity.
Yeah.
So, all right. In February 2016, back to Lindsey. In February 2016, she was sentenced to 4 years in prison and was fined $31,000. She got sent to Fort Worth, Texas. And in 7 months, she got 8 incident reports because she was like, when we see this quote from when she was with Scott, she's because I'm really bad at being good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And she says, "I got in fights and sold drugs and was kicked out of a lot of different compounds. I was moved 4 times in 4 years and spent over a year worth of my time in the hole."
That's pretty damn bad. And seeing her like that interview from when she was in prison, and she got like the blue Kool-Aid mix for eyeshadow and
Yep.
the coffee for
Yep.
eyeliner. She's looking like a full-blown drag queen
Yep.
with all the
Hmm.
colors. Like she put all the colors on her face.
And she, at that time, was still like, "I can't wait to get out and start doing it again." Like she just didn't have
Mhm.
any remorse,
Yep.
still. And so in 2020, she was released. It was during COVID, so it was really weird. So like she couldn't, you remember how she had to talk to Molly Grace through the
Yeah.
glass because they had to be quarantined or whatever.
Right.
And she relapsed within 30 days. So that whole season with him all happened within 30 days. I think she has said that whole season that they filmed was just like a 2-week time frame.
Wow.
She had been out for 6 weeks when, so she relapsed within 30 days, but she had been out for 6 weeks. So she had been out a month and a half when she got picked up. She says, "I felt a deep sense of shame. I was sent back
As
to
she
prison
should.
for 18 months. And at that time, I got arrested for possession, a gun charge, and introduction of a controlled substance in prison." I remember at the time we were like, why
What
was
does
she
that mean?
arrested for that? Did she take somebody drugs in prison? Did she go visit somebody in prison who took
That's what
drugs?
it's kind of, because I don't know with an introduction. I mean, did you give it to a person who had never been introduced to drugs before? Said, "Hi, my name's Lindsey. I want to introduce you to something." So that's a very weird charge. Well,
Yeah, because she
the
was
wording of it.
arrested. She got pulled over for speeding. She
Mhm.
was test driving a car
Yeah.
and had gun and meth with her. And so all at that time, she got all of this, but introduction of a controlled substance in prison. I don't know what that means.
I don't know what
When
that
she
means.
went into prison, she had some up her hooch and they found it and they added that charge.
All this time, I thought she went back to prison for a probation and violation because she fucked up all of Scott's stuff, like when she carved in his desk, threw all of his stuff in the front yard, and this.
I think that's when.
That.
Well, that's when he kicked her out. I think.
Right.
And then within 2 weeks,
I thought
that's
why she went back.
Well, 2 weeks after that was when she was arrested. So somebody let us know. So we know she was arrested for doing the test drive on the car, possession, and the gun charge. Okay. And then at that same time, all in that same arrest was introduction of a controlled substance in prison, which I think may mean that when they took her to prison, she had something on her. So they just added that.
Okay.
Well, maybe
that's what we'll go with for now.
She'd stuck it somewhere. Okay. In her butt.
Well, you got to do the cough test.
That's what I'm saying. So, but if she went in there and had it on her and they got it out of her, maybe they're like,
I'm just surprised she would be that dumb to do it.
She's a druggie. She's not making sense. So she's currently in 2025 out on bond in the state of Mississippi. So in 2024, we go to an arraignment. Okay. We see
who's our lawyer?
Tyler Moss, ponytail lawyer.
So happy to see ponytail lawyer. So at least we know he is a legit attorney, and that is her real attorney, because we weren't sure during the season.
Well, I looked him up. I looked him up.
Real thing.
He went to Ole Miss Law School, so that means he's got to be a good lawyer.
Of course.
And he does have like the Moss Law Firm or whatever.
Okay.
He just has a ponytail. Okay. So
he's just like your traditional clean cut attorney.
Right. So she's with her mom and Miley Grace, and they're walking and they go to the courthouse. Of course, she's nervous. She doesn't know what's going to happen. But she says, right now she's been sober for 2 years. See, she is in college full time. She has a full-time job at that rehab center. Mm-hmm. She has a house. She has a mortgage. She has full custody of her daughter. And, she's like, it's devastating to think how far I've come could all be taken away, because she is, facing up to 40 years in state prison for the probation violations, basically.
And I didn't realize she still had that over her.
Yeah.
Until this episode. I was like, oh, holy shit.
I do, because she and Blaine went and met with ponytail lawyer.
That's right. I forgot all about that.
He said, like, I'm doing my best, but it's going to be like $10,000 more to fight this or whatever.
Yes.
They come out of court and he says, okay, I told you, wasn't anything to be worried about. She goes, I know, I was worried for nothing. But she says, now really it's up to Tyler to get the best deal possible for her. She says she spent so many years hurting people, damaging other families with her actions. And it took her a long time to understand what she had done to her own family and what she had done to other families.
Yeah.
But now she really wants to make it right. And she could spend her whole life trying to make it right, trying to help people to make up for the damages that she did. So, I mean, she really wants to kind of work in this industry, which is great. Right. Now we get the black screen of death, which says Lindsey is currently on federal probation and her state charges are pending. She faces up to 40 years in state prison. I can imagine whenever Tyler works a deal for her, all of this, working in a sober facility, being sober, literally being on all kinds of scholarships to Ole Miss, going to this prestigious business school. And then she's using that business degree towards this industry. I think all of that is going to go in her favor.
Absolutely.
And really hope that she'll just be like, okay, she's on federal probation. We'll also put you on state probation for 20 years or something, like Amber and Puppy and all that. And Amber went back to jail too.
Drunk driving, which wasn't surprising, because that last season
it's rough
that she was on there, she was drunk a lot.
And the boyfriend was leaving her over it. Between that and that she couldn't carry the baby because of her liver damage, and she was still drinking. Yeah. Amber, we want the best for you, Amber.
We were rooting for you.
We were all rooting for you.
Rooting for you.
All right, let's go to Garrett and his fine ass.
Oh, yeah.
Garrett
mm.
Garrett is 31. He says he thinks he probably spent 3,000 days total in prison, but it was 8 years, and he's been on 5 years probation, or he's on 5 years
Shit.
probation.
So did he spend 8 years in prison, or is this a few years and then probation?
I think he was in prison for 8 years.
Damn.
I do, because he's 31, and all this shit went down when he was like 19. He had
Can
a
you
good.
imagine going to high school with him? Oh my God. I would be
be
chasing him all the
Me too.
time.
I would be like, oh my God, he's a thief and a drug dealer, and he's hot.
Holy
That's the man for
shit.
me. It's the
I'd be
man
like,
for
I'll
me.
do all your homework, not the math homework, but all the other stuff. I'll do all your homework. And oh man, he was something like.
I thought
he
this
had
was
swag.
I'm glad they brought him back to do this story, because all we really remember from him is that, he was with Jonna. They had sex in the woods. They did like a fake wedding on the beach. They didn't get married. He has a big penis and started an OnlyFans. Like,
oh, I didn't know he had a big penis too. Holy shit balls. Woo.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've seen it. Somebody sent me like a screenshot from his OnlyFans. Yeah.
How did it look?
It was giant. It was giant.
Oh my God. What do you mean? Give me a hand. Like, measure it.
No, I don't know.
What do you mean giant?
Just really, really big.
That big?
Like a foot long. Like really big. Like, I'm just saying, like as big as a ruler. Like really big.
No. Did it have girth too?
Yeah, it was really big. And I don't want to talk about this anymore.
Oh man.
Go find the pictures for yourself. I don't want to talk. I'm very uncomfortable. Okay.
Oh.
So first of all, when he starts talking, he's like super sweaty. I'm like, somebody give this guy a fan. Why are you making him sweat? He's sweaty. And he had a kind of a new scar on his head. And I wish they would have either put a little concealer on that.
Yeah.
Or he would have explained, like, oh, you wouldn't believe what happened the other day.
I thought it was like a pimple or something.
No, like because when he gets turned to the side, you could see it. It was a scar that was healing.
Ouch. Okay.
Yeah, which just makes him hotter. Let's be honest.
It kind of does. He's a bad boy.
Yeah. So he grew up in the Tampa area. His parents divorced, and he went between houses, and he grew up kind of poor. And we get a lot of pictures of his hot dad. And I was like, whoa, Dad, hey.
And then he like becomes a single dad too. So that makes him extra hot. Just like, oh, okay.
Cute. He says at some point his dad made some business moves, and they moved to a much nicer house. And there was a basketball court down the street, and it was like really great. It was good times. We see him with his brother Brad playing basketball. Brad could be as cute as Garrett. He just needs a little bit of a trim on that beard and lose about 20 pounds.
I thought he was so cute.
Cute, but not as cute as Garrett. Because Garrett's just like legitimately hot.
Okay, so I have to tell you the shock I had on my face whenever his brother spoke and how differently they speak.
Oh, I didn't even. Oh, well, because Garrett's very like street talking.
I was just like, okay, is the way that Garrett speaks, is that fake, or because they sound completely different?
Well, he's always talked that way. He's always talked that way. So I think that is just his street talk from growing up, being a criminal. And
his brother was not about that life at all.
No, his brother was like not even letting him in the house. Like, he's a brother. His brother
I'm not getting my ass beat tonight because you fucking snuck out.
His brother was like, I watched that and thought, this is what I shouldn't do. Right.
Right.
By the way, I blame all of this bad behavior on his mother.
I do too.
Every bit of it.
I agree.
I don't give a shit. I blame every bit of this on her mother.
I do too.
Mother. And I don't like that because, I'm a mother and I take the blame for a lot of stuff. But in this case, I'm right.
Yeah.
So, all right. So we see him with his brother, Brad. And he said when he was 10, his mother, Lori Tanner, we see you. I'm going to look her up. Lori Tanner. Okay.
Is that still her last name though?
I don't know. Listen, if I found Shanoa, Savannah's mom, I can find anybody.
We know you're that person.
Yeah.
That anytime we have a question, send it over to Mary Payne. She's gonna get back to you within 30 minutes to an hour with an answer.
Yeah, and if I can't do it, and then I give it over to Ingrid. And then sometimes Ingrid will pay for that, like free, like it'll free for 30 days, like peoplesearch.com. And then I'll be like, y'all, we got 30 days to look up anybody you want to look up. We started looking up court records. Yeah.
Oh, that's so funny.
So, let's talk about peptides for a minute. If you're like me, you see the word peptide everywhere on all your products. But just because something says peptide on the label doesn't mean it's actually doing anything for you. And that's where OneSkin's OS1 peptide is different. Some peptides just sit on the top of the skin, but OS1 goes deeper. It's scientifically formulated to penetrate the cells within skin's deeper layers, improving key skin health markers like collagen production, hydration, and skin barrier function. And not only that, OS1 is proven to remain stable from the lab to your countertop. So if you're not getting results from your peptide, it might be time to take a closer look. All of OneSkin's topical supplements are backed by lab and clinical studies. You guys know I've been using OneSkin's face topical supplement for months. You guys, my skin looks great. It is completely working for me. I need anything I can these days to help with the collagen production, and this is really working for me. OneSkin was founded in 2016 by an all-woman team of scientists with PhDs in skin regeneration, stem cell biology, immunology, and bioinformatics. You guys, this is a bunch of smart ladies. Like I said, founded and led by an all-woman team of skin longevity scientists and experts, OneSkin is redefining the aging process with the proprietary OS1 peptide, the first ingredient proven to help skin look, feel, and behave like its younger self. Get 15% off with code PINKSHADE at oneskin.co. That's 15% off at oneskin.co with code PINKSHADE. After you purchase, they'll say, "Where did you hear about us?" Please say Pink Shade. Support our show and tell them we sent you. Invest in your health and longevity of your skin with OneSkin. Your future self will thank you. All right, you guys know I have been on quite a journey with my sad little eyelashes, okay? I need mascara in my life every single day to make me look decent. I've got to be on this camera. Sometimes I've just got to run to the grocery store, and if I don't put on my mascara, I look like I'm ill. And people are going to stop me and wonder if something's wrong with me. Now, you've probably seen Thrive Cosmetics viral tubing mascara. You know, it's the one in the turquoise tube that you see all over your socials. And I've seen it and I've always wanted to try it. Well, they sent me some. Oh my gosh, does it work? It is incredible, you guys. Their formula creates tubes around each eyelash. And then when you're trying to take it off, you literally just get it off with warm water. So you're washing your face, it just comes off. You don't have to add an extra step to try to wipe it off your eyes and then pull half your eyelashes out in the process. I mean, maybe that's just me. But Thrive Cosmetics beauty products are certified 100% vegan and cruelty-free, which I love. They are made with clean, skin-loving ingredients, high performance and trademark formulas, and uncompromising standards. You guys, you can see why their cosmetics get thousands of 5-star reviews, okay? You guys have got to try this liquid lash extensions mascara. This is my new obsession. I will post about it on my Instagram so you guys can see the before and after of my eyelashes. It is incredible. It lasts all day, no clumping, smudging, flaking, comes right off with warm water. It looks like you went and got fancy extensions, but you don't have to, and you don't have to spend that money. And it has a flake-free tubing formula. I don't even know what that means. It just looks great. So right now, you can go to Thrive Cosmetics. Thrive Cosmetics is luxury beauty that gives back. You can get 20% off your first order at thrivecosmetics.com/pinkshade. That's Thrive Cosmetics, CAUSEMETICS.com/pinkshade for 20% off your first order. Try this mascara and send me a picture and show me what you look like. You're going to love it. Okay, so when he was 10, his mom started dating a new guy, and he would see this guy steal when they went to the grocery store. And he thought, well, that's easy. He's 10 years old, and he has, this mother, and then he's got divorced parents, and he's looking up to this criminal, and it's very sad.
It really is, because why are you stealing in front of the kid?
Exactly. And he started stealing candy at the Winn-Dixie when he was 12. And he says, yeah, that boyfriend was a terrible influence. And he tells something else, I guess the boyfriend maybe went to jail and came home and showed him, yeah, I'm back on my drug dealing or whatever.
Oh my God.
And, he's 12 years old. And the guy's showing him this like it's cool. And he thought
And of
that
course,
was
the
cool.
12-year-old thinks that is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now we see Paul Cisco, criminal defense attorney, who doesn't know Garrett personally, but he knows this kind of person. He sees it over and over and over, who was very young with a bad role model and is introduced to drugs and petty crimes.
Right.
He was 13 when Lori and this loser boyfriend broke up, and she moved to Oregon.
Yeah, moved away from her kids.
From Florida to Oregon is about the furthest you can go.
Yeah, she's like, fuck them kids, fuck my ex, I'm moving to Oregon. Which
I'm going
to anyway.
It's like way over there by Washington State.
Yeah, and I'm like, you just don't hear that much about
like
Oregon.
Above California, that way over there. Okay. I think, don't come at me if it's not way over by Washington State, but I'm 99% sure.
No. You're actually correct. And I only know this because one of my favorite shows was in Oregon, Grimm. I don't know if you ever watched Grimm. I don't think it's your type of show. And it's very close to Washington.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's really, really far from Southern Florida. Okay. Yeah. So he said he was really sad about that when his mom moved and left with the dad and the stepmom. And he said, so I was always high. He was 13.
Yeah.
I was always high. You know, I moved from weed that he got from the boyfriend. I moved to mushrooms, to Xanax, to coke, to meth. And so he goes to the childhood home and it's a really nice house. And he says, I have a lot of good and bad memories here. Like my dad worked so hard to get us this house and we were a whole family when we were here and life was good. But then they got divorced. We had to move out and then I was in jail. He said, so like, he feels like so bad for like his dad, his only parent there, you know? So he says, seeing this house makes me emotional because like I made really poor choices and it affected all the people I loved. And he kind of cries and he says, he goes, all right, here's my bedroom window. I hope they got permission from this people in this house.
They had to.
Florida.
Yeah.
So he says, here's my bedroom window. And I would sneak out. I would sneak out for drugs or girls or for breaking in cars, like whatever. And now we see Jim Rathman, a retired detective who was very familiar with Garrett and his shenanigans. Yes. And he says, the underground world of trafficking and stolen goods is a hot market. And Jim says, Garrett lived in a nice neighborhood, so he would frequent the high class neighborhoods so he could escape quickly right back to his house. And then he says he would knock on his brother's window. His brother would open the window. He would throw in whatever he had and jump in the window and close the window.
He made like stealing stuff seem so simple and easy, like with no fear about doing it. And I'm just like, one time when Skylar was little, we walked out of Target and she had gotten something and we hadn't paid for it. I'm like, I'm raising a fucking criminal mastermind here and lost my mind. And here this kid is like 13 years old breaking into homes.
And then it was interesting. I was like, why would you go and throw stuff in your brother's window? Why didn't you just go back in your own window? His
dad would always lock his window.
So after he left, his dad would be like, fuck you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's pretty funny. What his dad should have done is put some bars on those damn windows.
I think his hope was that he would have to knock at the front door to get in the house, not thinking his brother would just let him in.
Yeah. So anyway, Garrett says, oh man, I was working. I was 24/7. I was on the clock. I was working. And the lawyer says, well, this is classic escalation that criminals do. When you need drugs, you got to keep finding a way, to get the drugs, and stealing is quick, easy turnaround. So then he tells us that his dad had 2 laptops for his work or whatever. And he says he stole one of them. And he says he, justified it in his mind. Well, he has 2. Right. And he won't miss it. And he says,
that's such a childlike thinking, a child mentality.
And an addict, and he says,
not thinking that all of your dad's work shit is on the one laptop that you stole.
Can you imagine? Yes.
Yeah.
And he says, I have no idea how I convinced myself that doing that was okay. He says, so that night when I came back after selling it and everything, he said he went to my brother's window, who was like, nope.
Nope. You ain't getting out of this shit. Nope. He told me he would beat me down to the white meat if I let you in the window. So nope. Can't do it. Not tonight.
So he went to the front door, and he had to get back in the house. And he said
Yeah.
he remembers his dad crying and saying, "You stole from me."
Yeah.
And Garrett cries, saying, like, I can't believe I did that. And he says, but after that, all bets were off. I would steal anything, and I completely lost myself. Now he's only still 15 years old.
I know. He's just a baby.
It's really sad.
Yeah.
Really sad. And he says, so the first time I stole a truck by myself, I had been smoking and drinking and was high on meth, walking through alleys at night, checking cars like I would do. And I found the keys to one of the cars, and I thought, pfft. So he took off in the truck, and then he called his buddy who jumped in to drive the truck, and a cop car saw them. And so they crashed the truck and were running from the police. They totaled the car. They jump out, run from the police. They go into the woods, and he's like, I'm hiding under a bush. And the cop is like, we didn't know that we had a 15-year-old felony stolen car running from police. So the cops were hunting from him, and he was hiding.
Yeah.
He says he can like hear the dogs and the helicopters.
That is, and I gotta tell you the truth. I would be pretty fucking scared to be hiding in like the woods in Florida. You fucking anacondas out there. You got gators out there. You got people that slap women in the face with pork chops running around out there. Like Florida.
I don't know what that last part was about, but I'll just go.
You didn't hear no, that is one of the, like, I love Florida stories. Like, yes, there was a guy who got arrested because he slapped his fiance in the face with a pork chop. Yeah, Florida.
Where is, okay, my laptop is on it, so I'm going to show it to you. Okay, this is not going to make for good video, but.
Uh-oh.
Okay. Kimberly and Katie gave me a game. It's called Florida Man.
Florida Man.
I wonder if that story is in there. That's what my laptop sits on.
I love Florida stories. Like, you can hear a story, and it's so bizarre. And I'm like, it was in Florida.
It was in Florida.
You're right. Mm-hmm. It's always in Florida. Yeah. Good time.
So he says the dog found him and latched onto his leg with its teeth and was biting him.
Ouch.
And pulled him out. And he was like, to this day, I have a fear of dogs. Like, you know, he's 50,
I bet you do.
And he peed his pants. He was like,
I would have too.
He goes, I peed my pants. This dog was biting me. I was high on meth. I was scared out of my mind. Went to jail for one day. My dad picked me up the next morning, and I was on probation. Mm-hmm. And he says, and this just confirmed what all my older buddies had been telling me, which was, you're a kid. Nothing will happen to you. You can do whatever you want. So he said he was so happy. It's like, go back to his buddies and tell the story, because it felt like it gave him street cred. Oh, I got bit by this dog and all this stuff. Now you can hear him as a 15-year-old in that voice.
Yep.
Yo, let me tell you.
Dog.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That dog bit me. I kicked it in the throat and did it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can hear it. Yeah.
And so he says he went to so they're in a garage now. And he was like, oh, my God, this reminds me of being in the chop shop. Like, that's $1,000. That's $500.
Right.
So we meet his buddy, Josh, who for some reason is wearing a man purse.
A man purse.
Josh says, oh, yeah, I knew Garrett since middle school. And he says, Garrett growing up, he'd be the first one to do anything. He was like a crash dummy. He didn't care.
Yeah. Yep.
So
and they used him too. Because he's young and dumb and willing to do
anything.
Whatever. Yeah.
He's such a target for that.
Yep.
Kind of like older boy gang, like, oh, this is somebody we can get because he has
we're gonna send.
Terrible home life and has nothing to lose, you know? I mean, to have somebody say you're like a crash dummy is pretty awful.
That's scary. Yeah.
Scary. And so Garrett goes, yeah. And he's saying this to Josh. He goes, I thought these were my homeboys, but I was being played the whole time. And that's like when that's when I met the Cuban, and they were just like, the Cuban seemed cool. He had like chains and pinky rings, and every car we would bring, they would give us $1,000. Every time he sold a car, they would give him $1,000. He's 15.
$1,000 to a 15-year-old, especially back then, that is like being like a millionaire in his head.
You don't have any bills.
None. Mm-mm.
So he says, after all those years of stealing and everything, when you saw on the show and I bought my first car in 2017, that was a big deal to me to actually go to the lot, buy a car, be doing the right thing. And then what you don't know is on the show, like Jonna got really, really mad at him because she's like, we need the money for XYZZZ. You don't have a job. You're not contributing to the household bills, and you went and bought a car. But it
Where
was
did you
like,
get the money from?
it was just money that he had, I guess. But
Okay.
his whole thing was like, all I've ever wanted is to like be enough of a man where I could like buy my own
Buy a
car.
car.
But
Okay.
she was like, yeah, but we also have rent. And who do you think is paying for your cell phone bill? She was really mad at him about that. Um, so he talks about selling stuff to pawn shops, and he explains about sometimes they would go to steal stuff out of cars. Instead of stealing something out of the car, they would just steal the remote for the garage, and somebody wouldn't notice that right away. Well, yeah, they would when they'd have to close their garage, but
That's what
whatever.
I was thinking. The same thing. I'm like, it would immediately say, "Where the hell is my garage door opener at?"
Yeah.
I didn't get that one at all.
But I mean, that does happen a lot. And I've known about this for years, and I've always told the kids. So, both kids, Dave and I park in the garage, and both kids park outside. And we never gave them a garage remote opener because around here, all the time, people break into cars and they steal your change or whatever out of your car. It's so stupid. But I'm like, the big thing that they take is, of course, the garage remotes because they can get in your garage. And then they're also trying to get into your, because like us, don't come to my house, but a lot of times during the day, that door into the house is not locked. We lock it at night because we just get out of the car and go in the house. Now, there's no garage remotes, but a lot of people say that they're easy to like hotwire or whatever. That you can get one. That you can get one and get to somebody's house and find enough of a frequency to open it.
Well, that's scary. I mean, that's how we go in and out of our houses through the garage.
Us too. And you don't ever lock that door during the day.
No, I mean, yeah, we're not safe. Like,
yeah, well,
we're making it easy over here for someone.
Yeah. So you can never have a garage door opener in a car that's on the street or in your driveway, because that's the way people get you. So he explains that's how he would do it. And people have so much stuff, big stuff in their garage, tools and, yard equipment and stuff that he could easily take to the pawn shop.
That's our garage.
That's your garage. And so, I can't even imagine what James has out there. My God.
A man would get an immediate hard on walking into our garage. Okay. That's all I'm going to say.
No, not my husband. He'd be like, that's why we had to call our friend today to help us out. So, we're not handy people over here. We got nothing. So he says one day the police came to their house because they knew we were familiar with him. And the dad showed him the garage where all the stuff was.
Right.
All the stuff that Garrett had stolen. And he says, and my dad didn't even know, but unintentionally he had helped me out because I had guns in my bedroom.
Sheesh.
So can you imagine the dad hearing that later?
No, I know. Like there was well, I guess at some point he found out like.
And the stepmom, I wonder if the dad and the stepmom got divorced over the dad allowing Garrett to still be there after all that trouble he was getting in. I wonder if she was like, I can't live like this.
So I never even heard anything about the stepmoms until you said it. I'm like, I guess I glazed over the part that there was a stepmom.
Yeah, there was a stepmom and they got divorced. And I wonder if their divorce had to do with Garrett, because that'll be very stressful on the marriage.
Because it seems like his dad would bail him out
constantly.
Yeah.
And I think she was just like, what are we doing here? I don't want that kid in this house, Yeah. So, all right. You guys know I have been on quite a journey with my sad little eyelashes. Okay. I need mascara in my life every single day to make me look decent. I've got to be on this camera. Sometimes I've just got to run to the grocery store. And if I don't put on my mascara, I look like I'm ill, and people are going to stop me and wonder if something's wrong with me. Now, you've probably seen Thrive Cosmetics viral tubing mascara. It's the one in the turquoise tube that you see all over your socials. And I've seen it and I've always wanted to try it. Well, they sent me some. Oh my gosh, does it work? It is incredible, you guys. Their formula creates tubes around each eyelash. And then when you're trying to take it off, you literally just get it off with warm water. So you're washing your face, it just comes off. You don't have to add an extra step to try to wipe it off your eyes and then pull half your eyelashes out in the process. I mean, maybe that's just me. But Thrive Cosmetics beauty products are certified 100% vegan and cruelty-free, which I love. They are made with clean, skin-loving ingredients, high performance and trademark formulas, and uncompromising standards. You guys, you can see why their cosmetics get thousands of 5-star reviews. Okay. You guys have got to try this liquid lash extensions mascara. This is my new obsession. I will post about it on my Instagram so you guys can see the before and after of my eyelashes. It is incredible. It lasts all day, no clumping, smudging, flaking, comes right off with warm water. It looks like you went and got fancy extensions, but you don't have to, and you don't have to spend that money. And it has a flake-free tubing formula. I don't even know what that means. It just looks great. So right now, you can go to Thrive Cosmetics. Thrive Cosmetics is luxury beauty that gives back. You can get 20% off your first order at thrivecosmetics.com/pinkshade. That's Thrive Cosmetics, CAUSEMETICS.com/pinkshade for 20% off your first order. Try this mascara and send me a picture and show me what you look like. You're going to love it. Today's podcast is sponsored by Ro. Do you want the fastest working GLP-1s for half the list price? Yes, Ro has got you. Ro is now offering FDA-approved weight loss vials for half the list price of those auto-injector pens without implying the insurance or the saving cards. Oh, that is such a nightmare, you guys. I've been doing the GLP-1s for about 2 years, and I really wish I would have started with Ro because you don't have to deal with all those insurance cards, all that going to the doctor's office, all that stuff. It is so much easier. And if you're prescribed the GLP-1s, you will lose 15% of your weight on average in a year. The formula from Eli Lilly hits not one, but 2 hormones to curb hunger and less nausea. That's super important too. If you're prone to nausea like I am, this putting the hormones in that curb the hunger and the nausea is key, in my opinion. Ro is weight loss faster, confidence higher, and price cheaper, which to me is a win-win-win. You can join the over 385,000 people who have already chosen Ro to access their GLP-1s. So you can go to ro.co/pinkshade to see if you qualify. That's ro.co/pinkshade to see if you qualify. Go to ro.co/safety for boxed warning and full safety information about GLP-1 medications. 15% weight loss is based on a study in non-diabetics with obesity or with overweight people with a weight-related conditions on 5 milligrams of medication and when paired with diet and exercise. Half the list price when compared to auto-injector pens and when paying cash without applying insurance or saving cards. Go to ro.co/pinkshade to see if you qualified. That's ro.co/pinkshade to see if you qualify. So because he had guns in his bedroom, but because he had had any contact with the police while on probation, if you have any contact with the police, then you had to go to county jail. And we know this from our shows that even if like you are in a restaurant and 2 people get in a fight, it has nothing to do with you, the police, and you are like as a witness, you have to go back to jail.
Yeah, which is crazy.
Crazy. So he went back to jail for violations. He had dirty urine, drug use, whatever. And he said he had so many violations. And here's where we see a list of his charges: trafficking and stolen property, grand theft, motor vehicle theft, grand theft, credit card fraud, burglary, grand theft again. And it was just burglary, burglary.
And this is a child who's doing all of this.
15, 16 years old.
Yeah.
And he says, I guess I was a junkie. I was committing crimes to stay high. And so the judge says, all right, we're going to keep you in jail until we're ready for you at this drug program.
Yeah.
So he had never been in jail for more than like a night. And so he was there for 3 months. And then he went to juvenile PAR, PAR, which I don't know what, something adolescent rehab, I'm sure. And he felt like I finally was at a place where I felt like I could get some help. And he was 17 and he felt a little bit of, he'd been in a life of crime since he was 13.
Yeah.
No, he felt a
little
constant.
Yeah.
He says he felt at PAR, he felt a little bit of hope. And so he goes there and he meets with this counselor. Her name is Danielle. And they're talking and she's like, so glad to see him doing well. Mm-hmm. And she's saying, hurt people. And he was really there looking to figure out some of those hurts. And I'm sure they get so many people through there that just are not interested in getting the help. They just have to do it,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I could tell you from when my husband was in rehab, there were so many people there were just like literally counting the days they could get out to do meth again.
So it could do meth again.
And he's like, and those people are actually just hurting the group because we're actually here trying to get help and they're not,
Yeah.
So Danielle and Garrett call this other counselor that helped him there. Her name was Miss Jessie. And he says, Miss Jessie was the best person I ever talked to in my life. He says, I
Wow.
finally felt heard. She was so patient with me. She babied me. And he tells,
He needed
and he
that.
needed that 17,
Yeah.
but really hadn't had a mom
Yeah.
since she took
Nope.
off.
Nope.
He says to her, I have to tell you, like, how much you meant to me, what an impact you had on me. And he says, she really babied me. She nurtured me. And I didn't realize how much I'd miss having a mom.
Man.
Now, and I just think it's really great because I imagine these two women, Danielle and Miss Jessie, in their
Mhm.
job, barely probably ever get
A
somebody
call
ever
back.
coming back telling them,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know? And he says, I just didn't realize what they meant to me. And he said, I was really on the right track and par. I was really glad to be there. I felt like I was getting the help I needed, but the detectives came into the facility to arrest me on
Mhm.
new charges. And
Ugh.
he said he had been a part of a sting operation. He didn't know because it had been months.
Right.
He had been in jail for 3 months, and now he was in this place.
Right.
And the detective talks about how Garrett was a part of a big operation, and the Cuban was a part of it. That guy had roped in all these people. There was
Mhm.
150 people in this sting
Yep.
operation, and he was facing these adult charges now.
Man. And he was like at the bottom, you know what I mean,
Yeah,
of like this
he was
big
the crash
sting
test
operation.
dummy.
But
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, that's sad. And I don't know why I just kept picturing the Cuban with like fake chocolate like pendants on him. Like it was wrapped in gold, but it was really chocolate on
Oh,
the inside, like necklaces and stuff like
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
I was like, oh, poor Garrett. Didn't
I'd
even
love to
get
have this
that.
guy. Like, I wish they would have had him like in the shadows, like with the won't, 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 like with the distorted voice, being like, "I was the Cuban."
Yeah. That's funny.
Yeah. So, also, I wonder if his buddy Josh was involved in that
Part
too.
of it too. I don't
Yeah,
know.
he seemed pretty
Probably
familiar.
so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, is Josh his real name? So, Garrett tells Miss
Ooh.
Jessie, you came to see me right before I got
Yeah.
sentenced. And she goes, I know. And I cried and I felt bad because you were like consoling me. And he goes, actually, that was good because me having to comfort you made me really forget what I was going through. It was so
Right.
terrible. And he tells her that Miss Jessie, like you were my rock during that time. And he says, thank you so much for everything. And it's just really
It's
touching.
very touching. And he cried again and just I'm like, someone give this boy a tissue.
He's just
And
such a success
maybe
story.
yeah, and I would volunteer myself to be a shoulder for him to cry on. I would let him come to my bosom and just like embrace him, pat him on the back, let him motorboat me for a second. Like, I'm there for you, Garrett.
Whatever
I'm
makes you feel
there for
better.
you.
Yeah. Now,
Yes.
Jonna and Garrett weren't, I don't think they were one of the couples that did it in the woods. I could be forgetting, but I definitely know they did it in the shower right away because at that time when I was podcasting with Aaron, we were saying we were going to invent a little shower cap for people's ankle monitors because all these people end up getting in the shower. Like Lindsey needed one because remember when she like plugged in Lindsey when she got with Scott, remember she had to like keep her leg. All she wanted to do was take a
Yes.
bath. She had to keep her leg out.
Yeah, the leg out. Yeah. Mm-hmm. You
We were
should still
like,
work on that.
we could like invent something that would waterproof, it could be cute colors. It could be like, or you
That's
could do
true.
like orange or prison stripes if you want to keep it on theme.
I think
Um,
you should continue with that work.
um, so in 2010, he goes to prison for 8 years for all his crimes. So
Damn.
that adds up. So if he got out he got released in 2016, so he did 6 of the 8.
Okay.
Um, So he says, I'm lucky I went to prison for a long time because that way I didn't die from drugs or a high
True.
speed chase or a crash or getting
Because it was
shot.
going to happen.
It was going to happen.
It was going to
It
happen.
was
Yeah.
definitely going to happen. He got released in 2016 and we see him coming out, but we don't see Jonna. He was on probation. He had to do drug treatment. He had to stay away from the bullshit. And he says, it's been a long road and I'm grateful for forgiveness. I'm grateful for second chances. Now we see him go to a restaurant. It's called Neptune something. It's in Gulfport, Florida. I looked it up. Gulfport is part of the Tampa, St. Pete, Clearwater area. He is with Taylor, his girlfriend. Now, I do think we know that Taylor has a child and that they are currently pregnant.
And they're engaged.
And they're engaged. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I hope Taylor has like a good normal job. And
I hope so.
I hope so too. We need more info about Taylor. Somebody point us to a Reddit thread. And he has planned a gathering for his dad's birthday.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, I've never really had an opportunity to really thank my dad. You've been out of prison since 2016.
He didn't have a chance to thank his dad with a camera crew around. That's
okay, because that's been 8 years. So he's planned this gathering for his dad to really thank him. And he gives his dad a nice speech. And he says, and I got a present for you. It's long overdue. And he gives his dad a new laptop. They laughed. It was very sweet. Yeah. When I saw that box, I was like, that's a laptop. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought it was like a framed picture or something like that. Like,
it was really sweet. Yeah, really sweet.
And then he gives his dad a hug and his dad kind of cries. Like his dad's still kind of hot. Like,
I'd like to see what's happening with the hair because his dad had a full head of hair. Yeah, but I don't think the hair.
I don't think he has that anymore.
I don't think it lasted. Yeah.
No.
And he says, today I'm a free man. It's a really good feeling. And with black screen of death says, Garrett currently works as a restaurant server in Tampa. He has been off probation since 2021 and hasn't had any run-ins with the law.
I bet he makes good tips.
I bet he does. Especially if he works at like kind of a high-end restaurant.
Especially if he like wore gray pants, sweatpants.
You got to go look up his pictures. We're not going to talk about it
I can't believe
anymore.
You don't have it.
What? No, I would not keep something like that on my phone. Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
I would make it my screensaver.
No, it's a picture. Everybody knows what I'm talking about. It's a picture of him standing in a shower. It's like a bathroom picture, and he is just smiling ear to ear, like, look at me and my big
It has to be on Reddit.
Oh, I'm sure.
Okay, I'm going to look it up immediately. Like the way I'm about to sprint over here, I will be an Olympic gold medalist, okay? Soon as we get off, I am going straight to my phone. All you're going to see is smoke behind me. That's how fast I'm going to be going.
Yeah, everybody that ever watched his season knows exactly what I'm talking about.
Okay,
yeah.
Got it.
All right. Keisha, do you have plans for the Super Bowl?
Absolutely none. It will not be on a television screen in my house. No one watches the Super Bowl.
You have to watch it for the commercials and for Kendrick Lamar.
I don't have to because tomorrow I could go on TikTok and watch all of it. I've got the Real Housewives of Potomac. Part 1 of the reunion is on tonight.
Is it?
I've got. Yes.
It? Are you sure?
Yes, it is.
Because I think it's not. I think it's not on tonight.
I think it is.
I think it's not. I think they're skipping it because of the Super Bowl. I think it's not.
No, they're not.
Okay.
No.
Well, when this comes out, we will know the answer. But
and then I got to watch RuPaul's Drag Race from Friday that I haven't watched. I've got Baddies to watch. I've got Sanctuary to watch. I got a lot of shows got to catch up on. I got to watch 600 Pound Life because I got to do my own show with that. I got a lot to do. I ain't got time for Super Bowl commercials. I will see it all tomorrow on the interwebs.
Okay. All right. Well, I think you will not be watching The Real Housewives of Potomac. I'm sorry to tell you.
I bet you I will. How much you want to bet? Well, how much you want to bet?
You don't want to bet this on me because I already know the answer and I'm right.
How do you know? Okay, see, you're cheating.
No, I'm not cheating. The only reason I know this is because when I recorded last week with Gibson Johns for the episode last week, he said because of the Super Bowl, they're not going to air it. It'll be 2 weeks. Now, granted,
that sucks a bag of dicks right there.
Do you know what, Keisha? There is an easy way for us to find this up. Is Real Housewives. Okay, right when you type that in, the first thing that comes up is Real Housewives of New Jersey canceled. Potomac on tonight. Okay, is the Real Housewives on tonight? Is it on February 9th? Da 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 bapa bapa boo bapa bapa bee. I'm getting to the answer. There is no new episode of Real Housewives of Potomac tonight. The next one will be on Sunday, February 16th. Man, I should have taken you for all you fucking had. I should have just
Oh,
I should have
the
just
only
gone
thing
with it.
the only thing you were gonna get from me is James and Skylar. That's all I got. That's all I got. You have to take them. That's all I got. That's all I got.
Oh my God. I literally have written down here, look up Jonna, look up Lori Tanner. I'm so mad at Garrett's mom.
Oh no, she's awful.
What's going on the Libra Lounge with Keisha?
What the hell was that?
What? Can you hear something?
Was that from my house or from your house?
Do you hear the fire engines and stuff?
Is that what it was? I didn't know if it was a fire engine or a dog going, I couldn't tell what was.
No, it is a major, some major disaster has happened real close to my house. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, yeah, okay. Well, we got to talk about the Grammys.
Yeah, the Grammys were great.
Got to talk about that. More Meghan Markle being the horrible person that she is.
I'm just not a Meghan Markle hater. I just can't jump on board.
I can't. Oh, I am driving the train. Choo choo! All aboard.
I know. I know.
Lots of people. My 600-pound life. Mm-hmm. And what else is going on? The celebrities haven't been that horrible this week.
Oh, okay.
And I will be giving my first puppy update on my show from the little Sake and how he's doing.
Okay. Oh, he's so cute. Everybody go check out Keisha's Facebook and her Instagram and stuff at the Libra Lounge with Keisha, because that doggy is cute.
Adorable. And he slept in his crate last night and the night before.
Yes. Way to go, baby Saki.
We're doing
to me.
Good. Suck it. I call him that too. Like, suck it to me. Suck it to me. Yeah.
Cute. So I love a new baby. Love a new baby. Everybody follow Keisha, like I said, and go listen to her podcast. And it's Libra Lounge Keisha, same as the Instagram and Facebook, obviously. And follow me at Pink Shade Pod. And there will be a reel about this episode, because I'm doing a reel about every episode now. Every episode that I drop, there's gonna be a reel.
Okay. So, okay. Well, that one from last week with that stupid Todd Chrisley shit.
That was hilarious. Well.
I have to tell you, Mary Payne, I told James, I still don't think it's funny. I said, my laughter was coming from her laughter. I said, I don't know what was funny about it. He goes, Keisha, it was hilarious. I'm like,
no, that shit was so funny. I could not. Okay. That was so funny. And you guys, if you enjoy Keisha and I together, this Friday, February 14th, Valentine's Day, we will be dropping all 6 episodes of Love is Blind Minneapolis Season 8. We have, as of this taping, we have recorded 3. We're going to do 3 this week. I have watched all the way to 6, and it's very good.
It's good.
It is very good.
So I'm only on episode 4, and it's better than last season was to me.
Totally better.
Yeah.
Totally better. There are a couple of and then there's a couple of villains. And I think there's a guy villain and a girl villain, and they're not together, but there's a guy villain and a girl villain.
I think I can figure out who the guy villain is, but
you know who the girl villain is.
Oh, hands down. I want to kick her in the face.
Well, it's something, guys. It's something. So you guys, you can go over and join Pink Shade Prime. That is on the $10 level to get those episodes. And on the $5 level, you get Amy Archer and I every Friday breaking down Last Resort. And somewhere over there, I got to be putting in Temptation Island's going to be starting back up. Going to have to put that in. And I don't know where I'm going to slide that in. But I got to find out from Netflix for Temptation Island, because it's on Netflix now instead of USA or whatever it was on before, if they're going to be dropping it like they do Traders or whatever. They like drop 3 and then 2, or like they did with Love is Blind, drop 6. Because if Temptation Island does that to me, it'll be another Mary Payne blows her voice out situation.
I just like the fact that you said slide it in.
Okay, Keisha, that's it.
I'm going to the corner.
Going to the corner. I'll talk to you next week.
Going to the corner.
Okay. Bye. Today's podcast is sponsored by Roe. Do you want the fastest working GLP ones for half the list price? Yes, Roe has got you. Roe is now offering FDA approved weight loss vials for half the list price of those auto injector pens without implying the insurance or the saving cards. Oh, that is such a nightmare, you guys. I've been doing the GLP ones for about 2 years, and I really wish I would have started with Roe because you don't have to deal with all those insurance cards, all that going to the doctor's office, all that stuff. It is so much easier. And if you're prescribed the GLP ones, you will lose 15% of your weight on average in a year. The formula from Eli Lilly hits not one, but two hormones to curb hunger and less nausea. That's super important too. If you're prone to nausea like I am, this putting the hormones in that curb the hunger and the nausea is key, in my opinion. Row is weight loss faster, confidence higher, and price cheaper, which to me is win win win. You can join the over 385,000 people who have already chosen Row to access their GLP ones. So you can go to row.co/pinkshade to see if you qualify. That's ro.co/pinkshade to see if you qualify. Go to row.co/safety for boxed warning and full safety information about GLP-1 medications. 15% weight loss is based on a study in non diabetics with obesity or with overweight people with a weight related conditions on 5 milligrams of medication and when paired with diet and exercise. Half the list price when compared to auto injector pens and when paying cash without applying insurance or saving cards. Go to row.co/pinkshade to see if you qualified. That's ro.co/pinkshade to see if you qualify. Ads not read by me, Mary Payne, don't necessarily reflect the views of Pink Shade. If you'd like to listen to ad free, you're going to go on over to Supercast or Patreon, and you can find the links to Pink Shade Prime at pinkshadepodcast.com.